everybody, I'm Brett Walkow, and welcome to ActorsE here on ActorsEntertainment.com. We're here today. You probably know him as the dumb kid on I Ain't No Jive Turkey, his hit 80s sitcom. Tinkerbell Jones, everybody.
Thank you.
Tinkerbell Jones. Was I close?
You are so going to hell.
Yeah.
Nice to see you, Brett.
Adam Ferrara, everybody. Adam Ferrara. No? Not even? Maybe?
Not even close.
Brant Von Hoffman, everybody. Yes! Put your hands together, people. Police Academy movies, guarding tests, and just a friend of mine.
How are you, Brett?
Good, man. Good to see you.
Nice to see you.
This is our fake chat. Like we actually did. Good to see you. Thanks for coming to the show, mystery guest.
Yes. Yeah.
I've known Brant for a very long time, unfortunately, and we.
Well, you're just starting right off.
I'm starting off.
I want you to come and do this show with me. It's going to be great for your career. I'm telling you, sit down, and now I can't even get my name right. I feel like I'm in like one of the movies I've done.
Oh, that's good.
No, I'm not kidding. I actually have done films where my name was misspelled in the opening credits and then misspelled differently in the end credits. Just goes to show you the respect I get in the industry.
That's called high-quality internet porn.
Right.
Okay, what's funny is you tell me you want me to take it seriously, and okay, I sent Brant an email saying, okay, I need you to send questions to me and the producers so, we can make sure we get everything, we want to talk about what you want to talk about. And this is I'm going to read this. This is the second half of the email that he sent me and the producers about, well, this went to me.
The one I sent you?
Yeah.
You can't read that on the air.
I can totally read this.
Oh.
I can totally read this. So he said that, I've been at Police Academy movies, guarding tests, I want to talk about my book. And this is to be added to the stuff I sent earlier. We can also discuss your sex change operation and when you changed your mind after the fact and had more surgery to change back and become a guy again and then changed your mind again and then went back to a woman, but that was horribly botched and you turned into you as you are now. And I'm not taking the show seriously?
That was a joke between what I thought were friends. As I have once again. No. I'm kidding.
Do we need to?
No, you're fine.
It's okay.
You look great.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
I am happy to have you on the show, man.
I'm glad.
The thing about Brant and I is when I started doing stand-up comedy back in 1990s, Brant was you were on stage, man, and you were just ripping it up, and I would just watch you, and I wanted to be like you, and then I met you, and then I went, oh, I don't want to be that kind of sad. Nobody wants to be
like the stage guy, the offstage
Nobody
guy,
wants to be sad on the inside like that. But no, and then we got paired up at Pechanga Casino like 5-6 years ago.
It was. In fact, I remember getting the gig. It was the Pechanga Indian Casino in Temecula. Yeah. And it was there was a new room that the Improv was putting in there. I walk in there, and you walked up and said, I don't know if you remember me, because Brett used to run the show at the Improv, and I used to do it every Friday and Saturday night. And yeah, you used to tell me you used to watch in the back, because I was a very structured act. I like to, my material is written, and there are obvious jokes. And as I was saying earlier, there is this threesome. When you do a comedy club, there's always an opening act, which was Brett, who also acts as the MC, and then the featured act, which was me, and then we had a very funny comedian who I hadn't seen in, I think, 15 years, John Mulrooney. No, I don't think so. He went back to New York and was doing a radio show, John Mulrooney, an absolutely hilarious guy.
Very funny comic.
And as it happens, once in a while, lightning strikes, and you have three comedians that completely just help one another along. We have Brett, who likes to work, who works the audience very well. He also has structured material that he does. Then he brings me on. I'm completely structured, just stand there and kind of talk. And then we have John Mulrooney, who totally works the audience for 45 minutes. Yeah. Three completely different, unique, but very funny comedians, and the show was great.
But that's the fun about being a comedian, I say all the time, is it's like being in a fraternity. Like,
it is like being
we hadn't seen each other for 10 years. You hadn't seen John for like 15 years yet. We all click together and have a blast for a week, playing with the rooms and everything.
And the funny thing is, I think a lot of people always want to know, what do you comedians do? Because as Jay Leno used to say, a lot of people get the wrong idea about comedians, that we're like laughing on the outside, crying on the inside, and that's really a lot of BS.
That's not true?
Well, for you, I'm sure it probably is, but I mean, do you even own a mirror? Well,
is there something wrong with that?
No. You look absolutely. But it's not true. For the most part, when comedians get together, we spend the bulk of the time sitting around cracking each other up. I think that's one of the things.
And for you, playing poker and drinking beer.
And playing poker and drinking beer.
He schooled me. Every time I go to casinos, when we do casinos, comics go, don't gamble, because you'll gamble away your paycheck. This one just sits at the,
poker table.
Poker table. And
But I am a good poker player, and the fact of the matter is I very often make more money playing cards than I do at the casinos getting paid as a comedian, and they pay us well. So, yeah. So that's true.
It pays very well.
They take good care of us.
Yeah. Well, okay, for our fans at home who have seen in the Police Academy movies, guarding tests and all that stuff, we also have on the show, we have a lot of people that watch in who are new actors who are just, getting into the business. Tell us about how you started, where everything...
Well, I was kind of lucky. I came from the back end. I started actually as an actor. And I was in New York, and I was doing a lot of theater. And I did 2 soap operas that are no longer with us. I did The Doctors in Another World. And I got an agent to book me on a lot of commercials. I was doing very well doing commercials. I was a listerman.
Well, did you come out of theater school, or you just went to New York?
No, I was a theater major in college. I went to a little school down in Florida called Rollins College, which was known as one of the best theater schools in the country. And they had 2 theaters, and they had an experimental theater, and they also had a road company, of which I was on. And I was in Godspell, Your Good Man Charlie Brown, touring the country.
Really?
Yeah. And then
who are you and Charlie Brown?
I was Linus.
You were Linus?
I was Linus.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
We have a photo actually.
Oh no,
we don't.
No way. I don't think so. It was me with
just
my blanket.
Just put up a photo of Linus.
Yeah. And then Godspell, I was John the Baptist Judas.
Wow.
And then when I got to New York, I think I got the first job I auditioned for. A friend of mine in college was this guy Block. He's now an impressionist and doing very well in Las Vegas. And he said, I heard you wanted to try stand-up, so he got me to New York. We BS'd our way on stage. We told Bud Freeman we were comics from Florida, and you should put us up.
Had you done stand-up? I
had done some stand-up in school, and I had about 6 minutes, which is all they were giving us anyway. Kenny went on first, and he went right into the drink. And then that's me.
There you are right there, yeah.
In fact, I used that as my current headshot.
Is that your current headshot?
But, yeah, I beat you to the punch on that one. I knew that was coming.
Yeah, I've seen your current headshot.
Yeah.
I think that's more current than your current headshot.
I think so. My hair is still blonde, I think, in my
gone.
My headshot. Anyway.
Is that what you said? You said gone or blonde?
Not at all.
You didn't say gone?
I did not.
Okay.
I said
blonde.
You said
gone.
So anyway,
there's a dog on camera, by the way, in case anybody doesn't know.
Because
this is what you look like right now.
Yeah. That is so twisted.
There's a dog on camera.
So anyway, so then I did well. I actually did well, and Jay Leno and Bud Friedman both said, you're good, come back. So after I graduated, I went back, I auditioned, I did well, and
how old are you? How old are you then?
I was 21.
Wow.
Yeah, 21.
This was in the 40s. You're watching ActorsE here on ActorsEntertainment.com. We'll be right back in a second,
but first, this word about your skincare. Are you embarrassed because you suffer from unsightly leprosy?
Sad clown.
Yeah.
Please check out. See, I can't mess around with the sponsors, otherwise I get yelled at by the producers. Please check out Barefoot and Healthy, everybody, which is at barefootandhealthy.com. It's our new sponsor, so I have to read this. It really is actually really cool. I checked it out. It's the best place to go for nutrients. I'm hypoglycemic, and they have very, very healthy things on the site. Check it out for yourself and get 20% off if you mention Actors Reporter. We'll be right back with Shecky.
Barefoot and Healthy. That's right, barefootandhealthy.com. That's the site you want to visit to get more knowledge about good nutrition for actors. Bob Barefoot, you are a world-renowned chemist, nutritionist, and author. Known around the world as the man who claims in his books that all diseases can be cured with nutrition. What brings you to Hollywood today?
Kim, the answer's simple. It's my love of Hollywood, my love for the American actor. That's why I'm here today, because as a child, like all other children in America, I fell in love with Hollywood. My childhood hero was Kirk Douglas, and he still is today. I'm fortunate to chat with actors around the world about terminal disease issues. I love to explain what medical researchers are saying, that the main nutritional ingredient in fighting cancer and other illnesses is a combination of calcium and vitamin D.
Is that all there is? Calcium and vitamin D?
No, Kim. There's much more than calcium and vitamin D, but it's a good start. They need to take high-quality vitamin D and high-quality calcium. And I believe that the best calcium in the world is marine-grade coral calcium from Okinawa, Japan. And let's not forget God's sunshine on your face.
If anyone is interested in getting the good stuff, go to Bob's website, barefootandhealthy.com. If you need more scientific information, go to his information website, barefootscureamerica.com. Thanks, Bob, for the information, and make sure out there that you mention that you heard about this on ActorsReporter.com to get the 20% actors discount.
Yes.
President, boy, would I not be the happy ending.
We're here with Tina Yothers, everybody, on ActorsE.
Keep going.
Okay, so wait a minute. No, I want to back up here. As a stand-up, you barely did any stand-up, and you just hit one of the big clubs and said, we're just gonna lie and go on stage.
That's right. And the fact is, it was a Tuesday night. It was winter. It was a lousy crowd. All the comedians had been there for a while, and this is.
Now you always say it's a lousy crowd when you're on stage.
No, but this was truly a lousy crowd where we felt we've got nothing to lose. None of the comedians who went on before us, and they were all experienced, were doing well. And Bob Shaw was there, and Jay Leno was there, and this is before Leno hit. And
this is when he was kind of struggling in the clubs.
He wasn't struggling. He was a solid act. He just wasn't well known yet. He hadn't done any TV. And I went up after Kenny went up, and he bombed. And I went up, and I did really well. I mean, I really did, and I felt wow. And that's the reason I think why Bud brought me back. He said, yeah, because I was like the only guy. Well, then, of course, then Shaw went on, and he just ripped him up. I mean, he was just funny. And then Leno went on, and, of course, he did as well. So now I get to see what real pros were like. And then I moved to the city, and I continued acting, but I was also auditioning at the Improv. And the guys that I came up with some guys that Robert Wall, he was one of my best friends, and he and I commuted from New Jersey.
Robert Wall is who everybody knows him.
Yeah, Paul Provenza, Steve Middleman, Glenn Hirsch, Joe Piscopo, Jerry Seinfeld.
Jerry who?
Jerry Seinfeld. Paul Reiser, Rich Hall, Overton and Sullivan, Rich.
What a great time for comedy that must have been. Because you know what, I mean, I'm doing stand-up now, and I was blessed to really get the tail end of that. You know, Bud, and I was nurtured under Bud as well. And it was, you know, the Improv back then was like, I used to call it like Cheers. You know, it was a place where every comic would go, and what a great time for comedy, because the Improv back then was open till 2 o'clock in the morning, and anybody could pop in, Reiser, Seinfeld, anybody. And it seems like there was a different kind of camaraderie back then.
It was completely different. The difference is that we were helping one another. I mean, Provenza and I and Middleman and a bunch of us would wait in line and try jokes on one another. I've got this, I got that, and we'd help one another. And it was funny because I got in touch with Glenn Hirsch, who was a comedian well known back in New York and doing it to this day. And we were wondering, when was it that it wasn't the same, where all of a sudden we became professional, where now you're on the road and you don't see your friends anymore.
Yeah.
And all that camaraderie changed. Well, the thing is, I think the big difference is that when we got into stand-up, we did it because we just loved it. Nobody knew we were going to ever make a living at it. And it wasn't until, I mean...
Really?
Yeah, no, you couldn't have.
You didn't have aspirations of, okay, I'm going to use I love doing it, but it's going to lead me to these things.
It didn't lead to anything. The first guy that did was, I guess, Freddie Prinze, when he did The Tonight Show, and all of a sudden he did Chico and the Man. But he continued as his first, and then Jimmy Walker, JJ, and he went on to also a sitcom. But no, we did it. There was half these guys were making a living driving cabs.
Huh.
I was the only guy that was actually making a living, and because I was doing commercials. And then in 1981, a guy named Jerry Stanley from New Jersey came up with this idea of going around to clubs all around the country that has slow night or that weren't doing well. He said, listen, why don't we bring in a couple of comedians, you know, from New York? We'll have an opener, a middle, and a headliner.
No.
Yep. And
this was in the 80s?
This was in 1981 is when it started.
Wow.
And all of a sudden, these guys who were like making like maybe, I don't know, $150, $200 a week, we're now making $3, $4, $5 grand a week.
Wow.
And we were like rock stars. It was great. You're touring around the country, meeting all kinds of really fun people. There was a new comedian who told me that the reason he became a comic was he was inspired. He was from Arizona. He was going to Arizona State. They had a comedy club down in Arizona. And the first show he ever saw, the opening act, Dennis Miller. The middle, Bill Maher. The headliner, Jerry Seinfeld.
Wow.
I mean, are you kidding me? You're not going to do it. And they're all big stars today. I mean, that was the way it was back then. It was really a lot of fun. And we all did it because we really liked it. Then, unfortunately, right around the time that you started, which is unfortunate because the comedy club started folding up.
Did you just say I started and it was unfortunate?
I think it was unfortunate because it was at the end of it. Because by
so comedy was over when I started, is what you're saying.
It wasn't so much over. It was going through a transition because all of a sudden.
So it was good, and then I started, and it turned bad.
I'm trying not to bring up your act. No.
Can we cut the commercial?
No, we can't. No, what I mean is the fact that the economy started hitting. was bad all of a sudden by around 1987. And unfortunately, the comedians started asking for too much money. There were too many comedians who got into it who didn't belong there. Every show you turned on, there was some chucklehead standing in front of a red wall doing like 6 minutes. So you didn't have to go to a club anymore. And then the prices got absurd. Then all of a sudden, the opening act was no longer a pro about to become a feature. It was some, local kid who was stealing jokes from the act that he saw the week before. Then the middle became similar to that. And then the headliner... No, I'm just moving my hands around. And then the headliner became somebody who really wasn't a headliner. And I think after a while, when the quality went down, I think that the audience just got fed up. And they started closing up right and left. It's making a comeback now, but it's not...
That was the end of stand-up comedy.
No, that was the fact is not. But it
no,
was...
No, look, you were completely... What's funny is I'm sitting listening to you, and I have my own theories, but I really I feel exactly the same way as you do. What happened was, there was the boom, the great time for stand-up, and then every television station in America, MTV's half-hour comedy, Hour A&E's Evening at the Improv, was just hammering us with stand-up, and who's going to go to a club and spend $20 in drinks and this and that when they're seeing it on the television all the time.
Correct.
So then it all died down. And then another thing I noticed in the 90s was, as an actor, there wasn't the monologue anymore. You weren't going into somebody's office and standing there and doing a monologue. You still do sometimes and for different things, but it was a standard back then. But then they stopped doing it, and so everybody started going, well, wait a minute. And I noticed this in the Improv a lot in the late 90s, that people were coming and having someone write them 10 minutes as a monologue. So soap opera actors, all sort of actors were coming to the Improv and trying to do 10 minutes of stand-up.
Tim Allen told me, I did was on Home Improvement, and I was around when Tim Allen first got started. I've been around longer, but we had done some stand-up together. And he said the most insulting thing he ever heard in his life was some actor said, you know what, I'm going to get into stand-up. I think that's really going to help. Like, it's just a breeze. Like, you got to get into it. People forget, it takes years. I mean, when Seinfeld did The Tonight Show, I think he debuted on The Tonight Show in, 1982, I think. And he literally had been a comedian for 4 years.
That one right there.
And, he had been a comedian for only 4 years. And from the time he got started, he had never been on stage before in his life. And from exactly 4 years, he's sitting down with Johnny Carson. And that's how long it takes. And that's 4 years. I mean, that is like, you hone it. When you hear about people saying, well...
Stage time.
Right, exactly. And that's the only way. I mean, in New York, we had 3 clubs. You had the Improv, you had Catch Rising Star, and then the comic strip. You could try out a joke at the Improv, jump into a cab, rewrite it on your way to Catch, hone it a little bit again, go over to the comic strip, and bingo, there you go. That was the way it was in the old days. Now it's like, man, you're lucky to get 5 minutes a week.
There was a love for it, though, back then that there isn't now. Well, there's... Like I said, like a fraternity, like that's what was so fun about me, re-meeting you and the guys I meet on the road is, I'm getting to meet a generation of comics that really do it because they love it. And I had a newer comic who opened for me recently, and we were on the road together, and now we go all the time because I love going with them because every time we go together, we want to work on jokes. We're like, hey, let's try that bit. Let's do this thing. Let's just go on stage tonight. Like, we were in a thrift store, and we saw these weird hats. Let's just go try that. The love of it rather than all these people who are driven by success.
Thinking it's going to take you somewhere.
Right.
I agree.
We'll be back for more with whatever his name is. You're watching Actors Eat here on ActorsEntertainment.com. Also, here's Danica Quinn from Tinsel on the Town to tell us about Tinsel on the Town. We'll be right back.
Your party to the red carpet level, Tinseltown style. Tinsel on the Town will add a dose of Hollywood lights, camera, and action to your next industry event, anniversary celebration, birthday party, bachelorette party, or wedding. The sky's the limit. Hi guys, I'm Danica Quinn with Actors Entertainment. Tinsel on the Town and I will make your guests feel like they're attending a big Hollywood event as our professional sound and video crew mingle with the crowd and conduct fun on-camera interviews. Everyone will love to get into the act. Then we'll produce the footage into a spectacular video that can be posted on tinselonthetown.com. And for an affordable price, you and your guests can purchase an edited copy as a permanent reminder of the high-energy blast that they had at your soiree. So visit tinselonthetown.com for a sample of what Tinsel on the Town can do for you, your company, or your next event. For details about hiring Tinsel on the Town, contact Pepper J at pepper@actorsentertainment.com. I'm Dana Coquin, and I'll see you at your next party.
And we're back. We're here with Pauly Shore here on ActorsE.
Somebody hand me a gun. Better yet, just hand me a bullet and I'll insert it manually.
So when you were doing Caveman 2, was it? Is that what it was?
This man is so going to hell.
Just doing the jokes on the thing.
Yeah, it's going to be happy to put you there.
We were talking on break. I want you to tell the story of the baseball story with KP Anderson. In case you don't know KP Anderson, a very funny comedian. He's actually one of the producers of Talk Soup right now.
He runs it, yeah.
So when Joel dies, hi KP. Is that bad?
This is one of the things when I was talking about earlier about when comedians get together, we do a lot of kibitzing and playing off of one another. Well, once in a while, a situation will come up where a comedian can say or do something absolutely brilliantly funny, and yet you can't bring it up. You can't point it out. You have to just do it and pray that somebody sees it. I mean, I can't just go like, Brett, I want you to watch this. Check this out. I'm going to go do it. It sort of like deludes the joke.
Right.
Well,
I'm just laughing because this is such a great story.
Well, one of the situations happened to me at a baseball game, a Dodger game, with KP Anderson, Steve Cohn, and myself. Steve Cohn is a director buddy of mine. And I was not the guy who did the funny thing. I was the guy who actually saw it. KP Anderson is the guy who did it. Well, try to imagine. Now, my buddy Steve has got the best seats in the world at Dodger Stadium. When you put your feet up, they are on the Dodger dugout. These are great seats. And if anybody knows anything about the Dodgers and the baseball fans of Los Angeles, what happens traditionally is that they show up in the second inning and they leave in the seventh inning. Well, what happens is then the people from the cheap seats will now sneak down and watch the rest of the game sitting, in the really good seats. Okay, here's the situation. Steve's sitting on the aisle. I'm in the middle. KP's here. There's a whole line of people over here. Seventh inning rolls around. This entire row gets up and leaves. Okay, we're watching the game. Now, lumbering down the steps is what could only be described as a massive 650-pound female Samoan Zeppelin. That's it. This massive woman, and she sits down, taking up practically the entire row of sitting next to KP. We're watching the game.
Did you actually just say Zeppelin?
Yes, I did. As subtly as you can imagine, KP turns, looks at her, reaches down, takes off his wedding ring, and slides it into his pocket. He now doesn't hear anything, so he thinks that his moment of genius has just disappeared into hyperspace, but he turns, and to his glee, he sees that I'm, in fact, laughing so hard I can't make a sound. I can't even catch a breath. I have tears streaming down my face, which made it the happiest day of his life. I turn to Steve, who looks at me and thinks there's something wrong because I'm crying. Naturally, I can't say anything because I've got Godzilla 3 feet away from me. But the greatest thing about that story is, again, it's one of those funny things that happens when you're hanging with funny people. The best part of the story is, KP can never tell that story. That's my story about something he did. I mean, he can't say, let me tell you about something I did that was really funny. Brant, come over here and set it up. We're going to talk about the, way. I mean, there's just no way. That was just, God, that was one of the fun. I love telling that story. One of the funniest things I've ever seen.
It's funny you say that. I had a similar, not that similar, but a similar situation happen where I was with a comic friend of mine, and he was just drinking way too much, which comics never do.
Oh, no. This sounds like me.
And no, it's not you.
All right.
And so, no, it was after a show. We were picking up on the ladies, which is why I'm single, because I say stuff like picking up on the ladies. But no, after the show, and
Does your girlfriend know you're single?
No, she doesn't. I'm on Facebook. She's right there. Okay, so after the show, this guy, he just gets ridiculously drunk and just goes home with, I don't know how to say it nicely other than a hobbit, and just the funniest story you've ever heard.
That just draws such a disturbing picture.
And so
hobbit.
So the next day we're at Denny's, right? And I'm telling what he did last night, like recreating it for him. And it's very fun, like it comes out as a bit, which is now a bit in my stand-up act. Try to figure out which one it is. And he's in my stand-up act, so I'm telling him the story, and I'm laughing. I'm like, oh, dude, that's going to be a great stand-up bit. He goes, you can't tell that bit. That's my joke. And
No.
I go, no, that's not your
it's
joke. It's happened to you, and I noticed it. And he starts fighting me for it. He's like, dude, that's my joke. I'm going to tell it.
Never.
The best part is I go, if you tell that joke, it's admission that you're cheating on your girlfriend. Because he had a girlfriend at the time, and he goes, fine, you can tell the joke.
Of course. Suddenly, sanity set in.
Right?
That's always the best, when sanity sets in.
comic sanity. And
Doesn't happen to us.
I'm going to
very
stop
often.
there because I'll get him in trouble.
Yeah.
Um,
More trouble.
Yeah. Well, no, that's the fun about being a comic is we hear all these stories. We get to tell these. Like, I want to talk about your other stuff, but I'm sitting here with you going, God, I love doing this. There's so many great comic stories, and we do tend to leave the names out when it's something that we shouldn't tell.
I was just going to point that out because now you've just gotten about 300 comedians in trouble because they got a girlfriend. Is that you?
Everybody's going to
You
listen to my
act.
act.
I know you went on the road with Brett.
It was
That
you.
sounds like you. You're a drinker. You have me as a girlfriend.
Yeah. That does describe every
Yeah,
comic.
I know, pretty much.
You're
It's
a
like,
drinker,
who
you
could it
chase
possibly
women.
be? Yeah, man,
you're
it's gotta
sad.
be you.
It's gotta
You're
be
a
you.
guy. Oh, yeah. Very well done.
I'm
I'm
trying to move away from it.
All right.
I'd be better saying his name.
I think so. Then you only get one guy screwed.
Brant Von Hoffman.
It wasn't me, honey. Oh, man.
You just got married, by the way.
I did. In fact...
somebody really fell for your bullcrap.
Yeah, but the funny thing is, I have to tell you, and I think you remember this. I thank you very much. I actually... Ladies out there, you're looking at the first man in history to pull off the world's first surprise wedding.
This was awesome.
This is no lie.
Awesome.
My girlfriend and I have been together for quite a long time, and she had once said, I caught her in a conversation where she was talking to somebody who had asked her, said, do you think you're ever going to get married to Bees? That's my nickname, by the way. And she said, you know, I don't know. She said, but I'd be honest with you, if he asks me, I'd be honored to be his wife. Well, I heard that, I'm like, all right. Because I was figuring maybe never to get married. Well, I decided that I was going to. We were all getting together for down in South Carolina at my mother's place. Not for a happy occasion, by the way. My mother had recently passed. And I figured that there were going to be a lot of friends and family around there, and it was going to be a month away. So I thought, yeah, why not make a happy occasion out of a somber occasion? Yeah. So for 1 month, I would go up to Wendy and go, honey, do you like surprises? And she's like, yeah, I like surprises. Why? I'm like, I don't know, and I'd kind of wander off. I did this every day for a month.
Every day?
I'd wake her up. Honey, are you awake? What? Do you like surprises? Yes, what do you do? Honey, I'm just asking. Go back to sleep, sweetheart. I drove
How is she not pummeling you by day 13?
She pretty much was. So we get down, we go to the service for my mom. Everybody's there. I've got a friend of mine that's my father's best friend. My Uncle Clark acted as my best man. Another friend of mine, Phil Perkins, acted as gave away the bride. And they went down from my mother's condo down to a very good friend of ours, Margie, to have cocktails. And I set it all up. We all got in our jackets and ties. Mm-hmm. My brother was going to act as minister. Doors knocked on the door. My sister and my sister-in-law are there with Wendy. And they open up the door and say, honey, remember when you said you like surprises? She said, yeah. And he said, want to get married? She's like, what? She starts crying. They came in. My sister handed her a bouquet of flowers, which she had hidden. They gave her a veil. She came in, and we got married. And, of course, part of the service was my older brother acting as minister going, are you sure, Wendy? Are you sure?
No, Todd didn't do that.
Think about this.
No,
it was
didn't.
my old brother, Tripp. Think about this. I'm
okay.
telling you. And we did. And then when we got back to California, we did it for real. We had a justice of the peace. And we got the wedding, and here you go. My titanium band from my lovely wife.
I didn't hear the whole story. I knew part of it. That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
That was pretty funny.
We'll be back in a minute to hear more about your wonderful gay marriage here on Actors E, here at ActorsEntertainment.com. Let's watch Mary Jo Gruber. What?
Nothing.
What? I meant gay like happy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like carefree. I don't know what you were thinking. Mary Jo Gruber is going to tell us about Argentum Photo Lab. You get 20% off your holiday cards with your photo on them. It's really cool, and I know nothing about it, so watch the commercial.
Argentum Photo Lab, 20% off. Hi, I'm Mary Jo Gruber of Actors Entertainment. Take advantage of your holiday season. Say hello or promote yourself this year with your photo or headshot on holiday cards. All of the 5x7 holiday cards from Argentum Photo Lab are printed on the exact same heavy-duty cardstock paper that they use to print their high-quality postcards and business cards. Avoid the last-minute rush and order your holiday cards at Argentum today. Mention Actors Reporter at Argentum Photo Lab for a 20% discount.
Find out more by visiting argentum.com. Argentum.
That's great. Francis goes, he was showing me his ring. He goes, it doesn't come off. I don't know why she did that.
No, she put it
there's
on
a
with
reason.
some sort of a press.
There's a reason she did that. It doesn't come off.
Originally it was in my
I think
nose.
it's actually too small.
And I didn't like that. I'm going, honey, I'm taking this thing out of my nose and putting it on the finger. And I continued to wear my pants. So.
Don't even know where to go after that.
I know.
We're here with Shecky Green here on ActorsE, everybody.
Yeah.
Now, I want to talk about the book for a second. Brant, you wrote an hysterical book called The Big Damn Book of Sheer Manliness.
Co-wrote with my younger baby brother, Todd.
Todd, whatever. Hi, Todd.
And the sequel.
And the sequel.
The Von Hoffman brothers' Bigger Dammer Book of Sheer Manliness.
Now, that was just updated when? You just made that?
That was this year. This is on bookstores now. You can get. Originally, you can see this little this little burst here has got kind of a funny story. You'll notice that the covers are very similar. Okay, they're similar. We wanted to do two covers that were the same and yet completely different, and they actually are. They look very similar, but they are different. This little burst up here. Originally, what we wanted when we were talking to the here's another example of what happens when comedians come up with what we think are great ideas, and you're talking to people who don't quite get it. We wanted a burst to show that the book was newly revised, edited, and updated. And the burst was supposed to be one of those things like on the side of a box of Cheers that says, now fortified with whatever. Okay, so we're on the phone with our publishers, Langenscheidt out of New York City, and I said, okay, this is not what it's going to be, but it's got to be something like this. And I said,
no.
It's a big burst that says, now fortified, updated, and now with real raisins. And, of course, it was dead silence. And I'm going, okay. And the only one laughing was my brother, Todd. He knew exactly what I meant. They're going, raisins. I'm like, yeah, it's not going to be that. So Todd came up with this word. It now says the Bigger Dammer Book of Sheer Manliness, newly revised and updated and fortified with Blodo.
Can you see that?
Yeah.
There it is.
And people wanted to know what Blodo was. And, of course, we just went on a thing going, Blodo, you've never heard of it? Oh, it's the stuff that you added to anything. And it makes it better. You put it in your car, you'll get like another 12 miles to the gallon. You put it in your hair, it's nice and shiny. And if you drink it, your breath smells great.
And I bet you people buy it.
And
that they're like, oh, okay, Blodo.
Really, Blodo? I never heard of it. I'm going, that's because you're an idiot. So anyway, this book is out now. The Von Hoffman brothers' Bigger Dammer Book of Sheer Manliness.
Can they get the original still?
Yes, you can find it actually on Amazon.
Amazon?
Yeah.
And I'm in the book.
Oh, yeah.
Which I feel fancy.
Well, this is one of the...
No, honestly, that was a real treat for me. We'll get to talking about later. I do the pumpkin races with Brant. And you brought me into that. And then he was giving the book to somebody. And he goes, you're in the book. And I go, what? And I'm in the updated book. And I'm proud to be in the book.
From the world-famous pumpkin races. Anybody living in California, if you got a...
There it is, Team Cheater, the pumpkin races. Oh, let's talk about the pumpkin races.
Okay.
Pumpkin races. Actually, first, I want to tell everybody... Brant tells me don't bother pitching stuff, but I want everybody, check out the book. If you want to buy something for people this holiday, it's USA Today called it the must-have manual for men, I think.
Pretty much, and it's not, ladies.
It's hysterical.
Yeah, it is. It's very funny. A lot of people get thrown off by the title when you hear something like the Von Hoffman brothers' Big Damn Book of Sheer Manliness or the Bigger Dammer Book of Sheer Manliness. People think that it's homophobic and misogynistic. It is not at all.
Much gayer than you think.
It is not gay in the slightest, and although there's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing.
It's basically a tome.
There's nothing wrong. Where is it? There's nothing wrong with it at all.
Nothing wrong with that. It's basically a tome. It's a celebration for everything that is men that we like. It's the history of football, sports, movies you've got to see, women that kill us. Where the Weber came from, who invented the buck knife. It's just an absolutely great book, and it's loaded with all kinds of information, and it's written in man speak, which, as you well know, is sort of a shorthand. And it's funny because when the book first came out in 1998, there was a lot of people that got it wrong and thought that it was misogynistic, but we were not that at all.
It's a very funny book.
Thank you.
Very, very funny book. And I do mean that. Obviously, it's the first time I've been serious on the show yet, so I must mean it. And he's paying me later.
Yeah.
Now, I can't believe we haven't gotten to talk about this because I know everybody at home is waiting. Police Academy movies, guarding tests. Again, such a great time. For me, in movies, I think that the 80s and 90s, there was Police Academy. There was a different kind of silly comedies out. You know, I think ensembles like Police Academy that you don't see as much nowadays because it's more like, okay, what star can we put in this? You don't see a lot of no-name casts of people like Police Academy just coming together. I mean, the magic kind of happened.
Well, it did. Well, the thing that happened with ours, the original script was, we had, Dom DeLuise was supposed to be our director.
Really?
Yeah, he was supposed to be the director, and the script was written by 2 of the writers. And DeLuise apparently wanted too much money, so they went to this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy. Now it was going to be my first large role in a movie. And I was like, even though I played the bad guy, I was the nefarious Kyle Blanks. I was the guy that ended up being tricked into going to the Blue Oyster Bar and dancing with the giant gay men, which they were all real, by the way, and just gigantic. But
you were in a gay scene?
I was in the gay scene in the Blue Oyster Bar. And they settled on a first-time film director who came out of television named Hugh Wilson. And Hugh Wilson, as anybody will tell you who does comedies, and you assemble a group of very, very funny people, and I'm telling you, I work with some of the funniest people in the world. Donovan Scott, flat out, had us all on the floor. Yeah. He played Leslie Barber, the fat guy. He is just an absolute walking sight gag. The guy just, in between takes, Donovan would be on, and we would all be on the floor. You just couldn't stay with him. He was just absolutely brilliantly funny. Scott Thompson, who played my partner, Leslie Easterbrook. I mean, it was just on and on and on. Of course, David Graff and people like that. You know, he played Tackleberry. But, and Bubba Smith, the funniest person was the director. And it's very unusual to have that happen. Hugh Wilson was just flat out the funniest guy I had ever met. And
yeah, you guys were you tell me stories all the time. You guys were really playful on set. You really, from practical jokes to just seemed like Hugh really kind of put together, you know, such a great energy on the set that made it a playground for you guys.
Absolutely true. And the fact is, he always was looking for ideas. That's the reason why I did 5 Hugh Wilson movies, and the reason is because he liked the fact that I was able to pitch ideas. And I would sometimes go up, because I'd come up with ideas for jokes on the set, and I would go up and pitch them to him, and 99% of the time, he'd say no. But that 1%, he would say, yeah, that's a good idea, and he'd use it. And that's why he wanted you to keep pitching. There's some directors out there that I've worked with, unfortunately, that feel threatened. It's like they want to turn it into their joke, and it's like, no, it's my joke. Just do it this way. Well, Wilson was that guy. He was the guy that you would, come up with an idea, and if he liked it, he would do it, and he'd give you all the credit in the world. When we ended up going back to the Blue Oyster Bar, that was my idea.
Really?
And it got a big joke. It got a huge laugh.
Are you kidding me? That's one of the funniest running gags in the film.
That's what he said, and he goes, that wasn't me. That was Brant Von Hoffman.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it more. You're watching ActorsE here on ActorsEntertainment.com. And here's Anna Shell Ray to tell us about a one-of-a-kind gift shop at ArtistOr.com. Check it out. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Anna Shell Ray, here to share with you a terrific online gift store, ArtistOr.com. ArtistOr is an online art colony of completely original and absolutely affordable gifts and fine art. ArtistOr is particularly fun because it includes many unique and one-of-a-kind gifts, cards, and wall art that you can't get anywhere else. For example, in the gift section, ArtistOr carries beautiful apparel art ties. Yes, art ties. Ties hand-decorated with jewelry, fringe, beads, and all sorts of stuff. Animal art ties, art deco ties, music ties, you name it. And best of all, the ties are for both men and women and can be worn well with a pair of jeans or in a tux. ArtistOr also has inspirational corporate jungle posters. Joe Sabatino likes the poster of the hippo. He put it on his refrigerator to remind him of what not to look like. Yes, clown art, custom airbrushed t-shirts, hand-knit scarves, photography, handmade decorated soaps, and more, all on one site, ArtistOr.com. I especially enjoy the artwork by Brennan section of ArtistOr. Brennan offers his artwork on note cards, mugs, and wall art. Whether it's cocktail ladies, a smoking clown, or Ben and Becky's art for a child's room, Brennan's unique watercolor or pen and ink art will be perfect for the occasion. And when you use the discount code ActorsReporter at checkout, you'll get 10% off your entire ArtistOr order. ArtistOr.com. That's spelled ARTISTOR. That's ARTISTOR. Check it out. You'll be glad you did. ArtistOr.com. for all your unique gift needs.
And we're back with, who cares? We're
Respect.
No respect. Yeah. So okay. So again, I love all these stories about classic movies that I never knew. So you're on set. You guys are having fun. Any good mishap stories or practical jokes that?
Well, there was one thing that happened
that
sort of surprised me. In the Blue Oyster Bar, I mentioned earlier that we actually shot in they made it into what's called a rough trade bar. It's essentially a gay bar. But
rough trade bar?
That's what they call them in New York. It's where it's gay guys, but they're usually
trading rough things.
No, they ride motorcycles. They wear leather, and they look like the toughest guys in the world. These guys were gigantic. Well, they wanted to do, when Chad Copeland and I, we realized that we've been, Steve Guttenberg's character convinces us that there's a party at this bar, so we go there, and as soon as we walk in, it's nothing but gay guys, and we're like, uh-oh, and we're screwed. And these guys were huge. Well, they wanted to show my point of view of what I'm seeing, so Hugh Wilson does a close-up on one of the largest men I've ever seen. This guy was about 6'6", probably about 320 pounds. He wore a black leather vest, no shirt, tattoos on his arms, which were this big. He had a black leather cap, mirrored sunglasses. He had this huge beard and mustache. Just wore a pair of chaps. Smoking a cigarette very slowly, letting the smoke filter between his lips. And they added more smoke for atmosphere. And the camera's going closer and closer on this guy who looks like he eats furniture. And as soon as they yell cut, he goes, "Oh, this reminds me of a barbecue." He had this really high, squeaky voice, and he was so mincing around. And believe me, I had nothing against the gay community, but this is really how he sounded. And the other guys were these huge, muscle-bound guys, and one of them walked up to Steve Guttenberg, and he said, "Oh, I just loved you in American Werewolf in London." That was David Naughton. "Oh, sorry." And he just, but these guys literally, they're weightlifters, motorcycle riders, toughest guys, and I never laughed so hard.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
And then, of course, then we do the dancing, and that's why they're throwing me around even more, I'm sure, because I was laughing so much. So. Anyway, that was a great one. Wrestler's Rhapsody was another. Was another. That was one
Tom
of my,
Berenger?
Yeah, that was one of my favorite roles ever.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, this was,
there it is right there.
There's Tom. This was a movie that was supposed to be one of the biggest hits of 1986. It was Jerry Seinfeld had read the script and said, "This is the funniest script I've ever read in my life." It was a real salute to not the spaghetti western, but to the days of like Gene Autry, the singing cowboy.
Yeah.
And it was absolutely brilliant. And I got to play Jim. For the first time, I got to grow a mustache. I was a tough guy, and we shot this in Spain, where they did all the spaghetti westerns by the great Sergio Leone. In fact, my first scene with Andy Griffith, who plays the evil colonel, was on the Ticonderoga Ranch, which was where. Was it? I think it was, I can't remember, but one of the actors from Once Upon a Time in the West shoots a little boy in the head, Henry Fonda. And it was a blast. I got to learn to do the fast draw and all this stuff. But they never let me do it because I got too good at it. And Berenger was the good guy, and he had to,
He had to look good at it, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
so
that's funny.
But it was a blast, yeah.
That's great. And then Guarding Tess, that must have been a blast.
Guarding Tess, we shot in Baltimore.
Now, these are all Hugh Wilson,
This is another Hugh Wilson.
Because, you can see it, you can feel it. They all kind of have that same kind of, again, I said, silly, fun. There's Guarding Tess, 80s kind of feel, that...
Yeah, that's me on the right there, by the way.
Yeah?
Yeah, and next to Nick. They had, for those of you who have seen the movie, I think the funniest scene that I got to do in that was in the shopping. In the shopping mall or the grocery store with Shirley MacLaine when I'm looking for LeSueur baby peas. Doug, this is Bobby in Canned Goods. I'm looking for LeSueur baby peas, repeat. And I did it in radio, like CB radio speak, which is one of the reasons why I got a good laugh. And anyway, yeah, it was a lot of fun. Nick Cage, consummate professional.
Yeah?
And he stayed actually in another hotel. Dave Graff, me, and some of the other actors, we all stayed together, including Hugh Wilson, who was right across the hall from me because he knew that I was going to be basically having the fraternity house. So when he wanted to play poker or watch a game with the guys, he would walk across the hall to my room, and that's the way it would go. Nick, on the other hand, he was constantly constantly working on his craft. And one day, after the big scene where we rescue Shirley MacLaine, we did what's called a turnover, where we almost shot for 24 straight hours. It was freezing cold. We were shooting this in Baltimore during the perfect storm, if you might remember. The entire eastern seaboard was completely shut down, and we were shooting. And we have a helicopter coming in. We're freezing to death. And at the end of this 24 hours, we go back. It's now 7 o'clock in the morning, and Hugh looks at me. Hugh Wilson says, "So you, what are you doing?" I said, "I'm going to go have a couple of beers up in my room." And he said, "Okay, can I come?" "Sure." Nick Cage called, and he said, "What are you guys doing?" "We're taking some time." And he said, "I'm coming up. 7:30 in the morning, we have a party." The entire cast and crew are in my room, or in David Graff's room, rather, and just rocking and rolling. That was fun.
That's fun.
That was a lot of fun, yeah.
Well, Brant, this has been wonderfully mediocre. And I just wanted to thank you for coming on the
It's nice
show.
being here.
Yeah,
Thank you very much, Brett.
No, thank
and
you.
I always said
Thank
that
you
if
for coming.
anybody was going to end his career in somebody's garage, it was going to be you.
Awesome. Well, once again, if you'd like to see the end of Brant's career, you can check him out on Facebook and MySpace. And do you know what Twitter is?
I have no idea. I think it's something when you do this with your hand.
You're really close. Thank you for coming, and watch us here every day at 10 a.m. here on wherever we are. No, ActorZ here on ActorsEntertainment.com. And
We're not in wonder what you were doing.
They just gave me the wrong clock. Are we not done?
No.
That's awesome. I just had a practical joke played on me. Let's take a look at Danica Quinn.
Well, I've run out of story. That's it. Turn it
Damn
upside
it!
down.
They got me! That's what I'm going to tell everybody. We're not done yet. Here's Danica Quinn to tell us about PerformerTrack.com. Check it out. We'll be right back.
Hi guys, I'm Danica Quinn with Actors Podcast Network, and I'm here to talk to you about something really special. Treat your performing career, guys, as it should be treated, like a business, not a hobby. We want to let you guys know about the absolute best tool out there to assist you with running every single aspect of your performing career brilliantly. And you don't have to use batteries. It's called Performer Track. With Performer Track, you can easily log, track, and manage all of your auditions, callbacks, bookings, income, expenses, contacts, appointments, classes, workshops, and more. Ooh, I'm out of breath, all in one spot. It's brilliant. Best of all, it's online, so you can use it on a Mac, on a PC, and any Internet Connect handheld device like an iPhone, Palm Pre, or Nexus One. By the way, Performer Track ties all of your unique career information together and then breaks it down into easy to understand statistical reports for all of us blondes out there. Finally, you can discover what is or what is not working for you and your career. Get rid of wasted time, guys, energy, and money on the things that are not advancing your career, and only build upon your successes. Run a performing business, not a hobby. Learn more at PerformerTrack.com. Join Performer Track and save $20 on your first year of membership. Everybody loves a good discount. Use coupon code ActorsReporter. It's all one word. Again, coupon code ActorsReporter. I'm Danica Quinn with Actors Podcast Network, and be sure to check out Performer Track.
And that's the show, everybody. Thanks for coming. Goodbye.
Guess what?
That was pretty
no,
awesome.
No, it's not.
That was pretty awesome.
It's still running.
We're still running.
They're still running.
Well, you don't have anything left in your career to talk about.
I have plenty to talk about. That's unfortunate for you.
You like to fly. I think actually actually, you know what? Now I should tell them this. You love to fly and blow things up.
That's true. I do.
And it scared the hell out of me when we first met, because he's like, Brant's a silly guy, likes to drink beer all the time. And so, he brings me over to the house and he's drinking beer and we're in your garage and you're like, hey, Brett, check this out. And you start like sparking things and going, watch this. And there's like kids in the street and you're shooting off rockets and all the kids are chasing it. And I'm like, what are you doing? And then you set your garage on fire.
I did not.
You totally set the wall on fire. We were brushing it out. This is the first time I've come to your house. You're like, hey, Brett, I'm really good at this stuff.
Was that at my house?
Wasn't it? Or your brother?
I think it was at, I think it was Greg. No, I make fireworks for fun.
For fun.
But I make very good rockets.
You make things that blow up for fun.
Yeah.
The cheater.
And I shot, the cheater was rocket engines.
Yeah.
Just to propel my pumpkin faster than anybody else's. And
Yeah, in case you don't know, Brant's part of I mentioned it earlier, the pumpkin races, Manhattan Beach every year. You've made the pumpkin races famous.
No, you know what? The fact is, I can't say that. I think that I became a big part of it. No. The pumpkin races started by a very good guy, Carl Rogers, who on his birthday, he and a bunch of friends, actually 2 friends, excuse me, they took their pumpkins, and he said, well, what are we going to do with these? Because his birthday is around Halloween. He said, let's put wheels on them. And Big John Holliday was one of the 3, lived on a hill. He said, okay, on your mark, get set, go. They let them go, and whoever gets down to the finishing line first wins. Well, the next year, they had talked about it. Now 15 guys showed up with pumpkins. And then the next year, 50. Then 150.
And 20 years later.
And then 20 years later. Well, the thing is, one year, now we were invited to this after the 3rd year. And my brother and I went, we always made the best looking pumpkins you ever saw. We really did them up. They had a driver and they had all this kind of stuff, like that card you saw. And we kept losing. Every year we would lose. And one year I got ticked off, so I invented this little thing called Mr. Thingy. It sits in my pumpkin. It's basically a remote control that's hooked up.
Now that's the pumpkin that you guys created.
That was the first one.
The cheater pumpkin.
That was the cheater. Now you can see in the back, that's exhaust coming out of there. That's real exhaust. That is an exhaust pipe with a rocket in it.
Now,
and when I would lose, I would hit a remote control that would ignite it, and off I would go. The referees would, throw their flags, disqualify me. I'd throw a hissy fit, get completely hammered, and then enjoy the rest of the races. And that's been it ever since. And then you came on board as my shill, and that's basically it. And this year was the 20th
So basically, around hundreds of children, you get drunk and cheat and rig a pumpkin and beat them all?
I told you, I'm a role model.
Awesome. And we're not making this up.
No.
So if you want to come next year, every October in Manhattan Beach.
The first Sunday, it'll be the first Sunday before Halloween every single year.
Is it?
Yeah, and you should really bring your family down there because they actually have pumpkins down there where you can make your own. They supply the wheels. And there are thousands
it's like
of people
it's like in the old Boy Scouts. You would do the little
like
wooden cars.
Right.
You race them, but it's like fathers and sons and mothers and daughters. Everybody can do this all day long.
This is much more creative. This is where you can really
you make a pumpkin into it, and I just to explain to everybody, they do this all day long, and the finale before the final race, the cheater pumpkin, which you should see this thing. Hundreds of kids know what the cheater is. Every year they wait for
screaming for me.
Cheater, 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 and. This year, for the 20th anniversary, usually we come out, him and his brother are the smart ones. I'm the bumbling idiot. Surprise. And this year we decided we were reformed.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to change this year. We're never going to cheat again. And
we dressed as ministers.
And
Brett, of course, came out as a nun.
Of course.
But they were tearaway.
Yeah.
And so we went on this long...
So everybody's going, cheater, cheater.
No. We're playing this one straight. We're very sorry. We've seen the light. We've changed, and then the referees went up to us and they went, wait a second, and they ripped off our gowns, and we had our Team Cheater shirts on, so the jib was up. We were still as evil as
we
ever.
were dastardly.
But this year, and we took on the Manhattan Beach Police Department and the Manhattan Beach Fire Department, and for the very first time, even with the motors, even with the rocket motors, where I zoomed to victory, I lost.
No, see, Todd thinks you won, though. Todd,
he was wrong.
Have you seen the play-by-play?
We saw the play-by-play. It was a photo finish, and they got me just by about 3 inches.
The first time in 20 years.
Yeah, for years. But
it was because the track was too short.
That's correct.
That they changed the track on us.
Carl Rogers next year?
Next year, we're winning.
You got it.
Once again, Brant?
Yes.
It's Brant, right?
Yeah.
Thank you for coming.
Great to be here.
Are we really leaving this time? Yeah. Really? I don't want to go now. You can check out Brant on MySpace. Which I created for you, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And I went on it today and noticed you have 3 friends.
I never said
I'm really glad you did something with all the work I did back then. You can check them out on Facebook. You can check them out on Twitter. No, you can't. Thank you for watching. Check us here every Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Hollywood time. And tomorrow, who's our guest tomorrow? We don't know. We don't know. Tomorrow we're going to have somebody else. Stay tuned for our award-winning animation brought to you by And Now Media and Pepper J Productions, which we wanted.
Pepper J. First time I heard it, I thought it was Pepper Spray Productions. But if I was new, let's do it again.
That's good. Mock the producer. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Union, their rules were complex. Their piles of paperwork fogged up my specs. But I'm an actor. She's an actor. I'm an actor. Well, that's rather disturbing, but what's the one thing I need to know? Don't listen to the critics. Don't follow all the tabs. Forget that sleazy photog and the agent that's got crabs. Go to Actors Reporter. ActorsReporter.com. Learn the tricks and the secrets without all the sweat. An info-packed one-stop shop. It's free and on the net. Actors Reporter. ActorsReporter.com.
How can they help her?
Career cues, union news, makeup woes, advice from pros, insurance tips, choosing scripts, everything at your fingertips. Actors Reporter. ActorsReporter.com.
I just got a call back.
I'll do it.
Hi, I'm Tim Abel, former United States Army Ranger, and I'd like to say at this time of year, please support our troops. That's right. The Screen Actors Guild is calling on all actors to support our troops this holiday season. It's not hard to imagine being across the world and away from the comfort of your home and family during the holidays, especially if you ever served in the military or have friends or family in the service. This year,
Oh, hello. I'm Mary Jo Gruber. Thanks for joining us on ActorsE Live Chat Show. I'm just one of your ActorsE hosts, but as you can see, I'm also the ActorsE Live video editor, which means that I'm here, even when you don't see me. ActorsE is here to chat with you Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, or Hollywood time, as I like to call it. Our guests include actors, directors, producers, writers, singers, comics, and others that are all in the entertainment industry. You can see previous shows at www.actorsentertainment.com, and be sure to check out our guest index to find your favorite celebrities. See you next time. I'm working.